and welcome back to another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. Unfortunately, we're not victorious. Oscar, welcome back.
Thank you, Stefano. Yeah, not victorious. End of the day, we'll get into it. It's only Supercoppa, but I think a year ago we were celebrating the Supercoppa win. So,
No
uh,
cigars this
diff-
year, no funny dances, no strong Portuguese man on the bench. And maybe that's a
yeah,
good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. Before we get into it, we have a lot to talk about from the game. To preview Serie A, to talk about some spicy Mercato news that are coming out, talk about some even spicier Teo Hernandez quotes to discuss, and much, much more. Before we get into that, however, please, if you're watching this live, follow and subscribe. If you're watching the replay of this, drop a like, comment, let us know what you thought about the game and everything we said, and subscribe. It helps us a lot. But let's get right into it. As you see on the screen, Milan loses to Napoli 2-0. A game that we lost before maybe it even started. There was a lot of chatter about some decisions, like obviously Gabbia was the first forced one. He was injured, and so Cone de Winter started at middle center back. We'll get into him. He did not shine, and Modric did not start. And it seemed like a Milan that wasn't trying. Of course not. Let's not take away credit for Napoli. They played a great game and then absolutely deserved to win. It was a pretty much a one-way contest for the most part. Um, but did you think we went into this with the mindset of, yeah, nice to win, but if we lose, it doesn't really matter?
yes, yeah, I think you're very right that it was somewhat of a lackluster performance. We perhaps didn't feel our strongest side, whilst we are struggling with depth, anyways, and we're trying to have a bit of rotation. We should have the mindset of going into winning any competition, regardless of whether it's just Supercoppa, Coppa Italia, or the Serie A. But yeah, all credit to Napoli. They played a lot better. They have a deeper squad, so, and it showed that they do have quite a lot of quality on the pitch. There were some moments where I thought Milan could have done better. Am I upset that we lost? Look, it's always nice to win against a league rival. Napoli isn't our biggest rivalry per se,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of derbies and whatever, but it's always nice to shut up the Napolitani. I mean that in the nicest way possible. But yeah, I think we went in with the mindset of if we lose, it's not the end of the world. I think we have deeper, more underlying issues to address, whether that's going out into the mercato to buy players and reinforce positions, which we'll get into. But we also thought it's not going to be the end of the world if we lose this.
Yeah, I have to agree. I did enjoy the duality of the Milan fans. The 24 hours before the game, most of the reports showed that we were gonna play Modric and therefore stronger starting 11, let's say, available. And a lot of people, especially online and on Twitter, and as we like to remind everyone on this podcast, Twitter is not a real place, but nevertheless, everyone losing their mind, saying Allegri is crazy. Why are we playing him? He's played the most minutes out of everyone so far, including goalkeeper. um, and then once it came out that he wasn't gonna play, everyone was like, "Oh, so we're not even gonna try." So there was not much winning in terms of that. To me, it made total sense who to play.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lot of chatter about Milan being forced. They should be forced to win the Scudetto or be in the race because no European competition, and there's a good point. But with the depth of our squad is so thin that Inter have it's basically like we have a squad that's deeper and playing for two competitions because we have a very clear starting 11 at this moment. It's very clear in Max's eyes. It's very clear in everyone's eyes. And there's positions that either have terrible subs or no subs at all. So we see Gabbia come down, and Coni de Winter has now proven multiple times, both against Lazio and Napoli, that he's not capable of playing center back in that back three. Um, We saw a very tired Salemakers who has no sub, not to shoot on Pora Tekame, but he simply doesn't have the trust of Allegri clearly to play meaningful minutes.
Yep.
Jashari didn't do badly, but we saw that we're a different team when Modric is on the pitch, and we have the strikers problems. I think I always like to remind everyone because people keep forgetting when they talk about how terrible football we play and all that our starting strikers are Pulisic and Leao, and they started one game um, together. But we saw Christopher Nkuku, who continues to struggle and continues to be, uh, you know, not who we're hoping him to be. Um,
It's not worth the price tag or the effort. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, 100% correct. And so I do wonder, and I want to pass this on to you as well. Was this Max Allegri kind of, and I'm maybe reading way too much into this, but kind of throwing out there and be like, look, with this is the strikers. He could have played Loftus-Cheek up there, but he said, no, this is the strikers that I have. This is the center back I have. He could have played four at the back, especially with someone like Holland, who, if you play him physically and mark him properly, he disappears from games. Instead, he said, look, if one of the three goes, this is who I have, and feed him, and sort of him feeding the squad to the Lions,
Yeah.
sort of a reminder to management, a little knock on the door and say, hey, this is what we got, and we're this is the max we're achieving. If you wanna take the next step, you gotta take out the
Yeah.
the cash. Is that what you think Max was doing in his
Oh,
black magic sort of way?
yeah. Is Max Allegri petty enough to do that kind of stuff? I mean, it's Italy. He is openly criticized management before at Juventus, right?
Yeah,
He likes to. I shouldn't say he likes to get into battles with management. But we know that for a fact that, well, do we know it as a fact? I think it was definitely heavily reported and quite much verified at the beginning of the season that when we sold Chow, by the way, what a howler he had this weekend. But
yeah,
again, I mean, Coney de Winter is a lot worse. But sorry, to go back on track. Yes, we know that Allegri wanted to keep Chow, or rather, can see him useful to the squad and use him. Then we sold him because, end of the day, the price tag that we put on him, or that we sold him for, is acceptable and even good. Um, but have we replaced him? We certainly haven't. By the looks of things,
yeah,
I was prepared to have a lot better, sort of ready to go defender than Coney de Winter has shown.
yeah,
And I think we've been on the podcast that he perhaps hasn't seen a lot of game time, or at least regularly, purely because the original trio, the three musketeers at the back, have held it together for most parts of the season, and now an injury has come up, and Coney de Winter is thrown in to play, perhaps in a system that we should have adapted, knowing that Hoylund will, like you're bang on right, that he can disappear if he's marked correctly.
yeah,
But now that he has the chance, he has to be ready. He's not like a Bartesaki, where we,
yeah. Or
Estupinian has
Ordu, Odogu or
yeah,
whatever his,
that
his
we're
name
that
is.
we're
He's
that,
not
that we're
18. He's
planning.
going playing for Milan Futuro. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where you can be like, okay, you know what, he's being thrown to the lions by underperforming Stupinian, and we really went into the season thinking, Bartesagi shouldn't be starting. Now he's proven us wrong and done well. But Cody De Winter, I thought, we said in the very beginning of the season, rotation, 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 even if we don't have that many games.
yeah,
So maybe it is, and then in Kunku, I mean, we don't really know the backstory to that. I think most Milan watchers that know ball, that have high calcio IQ, will know that this is the exact the identical situation we had with Joao Felix last season
yeah. He is looking
in the
like
winter,
Joao Felix.
in
Yeah,
the
regen.
winter transfer window, where it's like, well, okay, it's not terrible, but why? Why are we
Yeah,
buying this? Like,
yeah.
why are we?
This guy
Surely we
is
should have
like
had a game plan.
the cherry on top in a system that works, not the guy that's gonna turn games in
Yeah,
your favor, single handedly.
yeah, and
Um,
and and we know that we went after Vlahovic. I don't know how aggressively, but I mean the wages were always going to be an issue. Like 12, it's a 12 million euros a season, and we pay Leao 5 million, and
yeah,
Theo Hernandez has been reported to have asked for crazy numbers. back last season and even before that. So yeah, maybe it is Allegri in a way to show, guys, come on, we need to be getting better quality and or some better backups because we might end up without Champions League end of the season if this continues.
Yeah,
It looks it's a downward trend now. It's our first, yeah, I think it's the first run of games where we haven't won, right?
yeah. I mean, obviously we
Kind
have
of, yeah,
some easier games on paper, although there's no easy games for us, as we saw.
yeah.
We've dropped points and lost or draw to all the newly promoted sides. Um, yeah, I think you're bang on, right? I think this mercato was done hastily, probably because there was the usual confusion in trying to figure out how we were going to play. Tade was hired and early on came out and said we're going to play 4-3-3 and we want, a tall target man up there, proper striker. Um, we have not ever played 4-3-3. We not have had one proper striker since the beginning of the season. So was the winter sort of bought, with to make some enjoy the money that we made from Chow, um, pay him half, and to be, the fourth center back on in the depth chart in a two-man defense. Maybe that makes sense. All of a sudden we play three at the back, and he's asked to play also. He's definitely a braccetto. Has played right back. Sorry, before. Is he a centerpiece of a fair the back? Absolutely not, and it shows. And same thing with Nkuku. We were going after, Boniface was done, and then we found out his knee was fake. Um, even Hader, who I don't think is letting the world on fire, Leipzig, was sort of
No,
set
he
until
really
the
isn't.
the fans sort of revolted. So they were going for, and those are very different strikers from Nkuku. And then couple hours left in the mercato. We go to Chelsea. They're obviously not too antsy to look for money, and then we just agree very quickly, and we get him. And now he's playing in a position that makes no sense. It looks a little bit better with Pulisic, but definitely not what it should be. And it becomes problematic. Now, of course, you also spend that much money for what it's supposed to be a sub, when your other sub in Santi Jimenez was also cost a lot of money. So they kind of put themselves in a true
Who's
pickle.
now who's now out for months? It's
Yeah, February we'll see him. We'll see him again,
yeah,
and that sucks because look, Santi has been a problem. Hasn't scored. But I think what they're looking for and what Allegri is looking for is just someone that gives them a chance to play a little bit different. A second option that gives them a chance to play different football, because games are very different and all unique. And so sometimes you need to start whipping in crosses. And it would be a
yeah.
deal to not just ask Ruben Loftus-Cheek to be up there, because he's big, but he's not exactly a striker. And he's
No,
shown
yeah,
it.
and he isn't supposed to be in a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So it's kind of brutal. But again, management is to blame. Since we're talking about it, obviously, pessimistic corner. The worst has to be the Winter. No chance. Like, he gets
yeah,
absolutely turned out a couple times by Holland. I did want to make a
yeah,
comment and get your thoughts about Holland very quickly. Saw a lot of, again, online. Twitter's not a real place. Comments about, we spent this much money for Nkuku, and Napoli spent this much money for Holland, and we were after him and we were at them first. Look, I'm the first one to point out when we make mistakes and regrets about players that we were gonna buy and didn't. I don't think this applies though. Hoyland did not want to come to us. He had
yeah,
much bigger
yeah,
wages that we couldn't pay, and most of all, he didn't want to leave United at all until they were like, "Nah, you'll never play."
yeah, yeah. It's like we're buying Sesko, so you can
Yeah,
just jog on, get
and
out.
he literally wanted to play. And again, our starting strikers, if everyone's healthy, are Christian Pulisic and Rafael Leao. While Napoli could guarantee him at least 6 months of starting job, which he got until Lukaku's back, and now he's been playing well. We'll see how much Lukaku
Yeah, and I think
playing time he
we
gets.
you're bang on in the fact that I mean, he probably heard from McTominay how great it is. Do you know what I mean? They're both Northern Europeans, and I shouldn't say Naples is frightening whatsoever. That's not what I'm saying. But moving from Manchester to Naples is like worlds apart in
Yeah,
terms of just culture, lifestyle, whatever. And if you have somebody Even I did Hoyland and Lukaku ever play with each other? No, they didn't actually. That's way too long ago. But yeah, just hearing a good thing, from probably what Ruben Loftus-Cheek experienced with Tomori. Tomori settled in, said, "Come on over. We're doing great. We've just won the Scudetto, blah blah blah." And the wages. Second of all, that's huge. They're ridiculous in the Premier League. Not sure how we're going to be covering Fulkrug's wages. I'm not sure what he's on, but certainly probably it's probably a lot more than Leao is on. And then thirdly, yeah, we don't have Champions League football. Hoyland is, I shouldn't say like a massive critical point in his career, but his start was disappointing for Man United for a very large price tag, which wasn't justifiable. Like, look, it was an investment rather than buying a finished product. But he hasn't performed, and he probably wanted to get game time to even play in the Danish national team.
Yeah,
And we don't have Champions League. We don't even have Europa League. We don't even have Conference League.
yeah. Less playing time, less prestigious competition to play in. So
Yeah,
look, as much as I'll be the first one to bash management, this was not really one that
yeah, no,
not really our decision. So yeah, just to put up on that, but he absolutely destroyed the Winter. I don't know what
yeah,
the game plan, and this is why I was saying in the beginning, it felt like Allegri was just sort of like, yeah, look, we play like this. We leave the two that are healthy. We leave playing their position. The Winter, you get
yeah,
him.
yeah,
I mean, Holland is as one footed as you want as one can be. The one thing you don't want him to do is go left and
and use his body. Yeah,
all night long, just letting him get the ball instead of fighting him before the ball gets to him to try to
yeah,
not
yeah.
shield, and then just letting him left. Magnan, I thought didn't help the Winter on both occasions.
That's true.
The first goal looks worse for Magnan, and then you see the replay, and the cross was sort of touched. So he's going out and then coming back in because the ball is touched, but then going back out. So it's a little tougher than it looks. Still should have done better. The second goal is very close and very hard, but the ball goes right by his foot at a very tight angle. He could have done better
Yeah,
on both. Not a great
yeah.
night
You could
for.
have done better, but it's not like a papera. And I think if
Yeah,
you're
agreed.
gonna find blame, it's certainly I think more on the Winter
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah, for
Magnan.
sure.
But
Both. I mean, look, the
it's
Winter.
it's a terrible combo.
Yeah, yeah. But easily the Winter, not no matter the match.
Yeah, yeah,
Even Pulisic struggled. We not to gang up too much on Kunku. Um, Pulisic tried because he always does. But after the first half, sort of disappeared into nowhere. We did have that one big chance that started off a corner. Pulisic does an incredible pass, like sort of no look, almost like overhead kick to find Salemakers. And I saw a lot of hate on Kuku for how that chance finished. Salemakers brings the ball up,
it's a yeah,
finds Nkuku, and Nkuku's not skies it but goes over the bar.
yeah,
Salemakers has a bigger blame in that than Nkuku.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And as I said,
Hey,
I'm
yeah,
not a fan of Nkuku right now. It's money wasted. I'm not saying the pass was awful. And then Salemakers acts like, oh my god, Tomori, you should have fed Tomori. Yeah, we should have fed Fikayo Tomori in the box to the side after he sprinted the whole pitch. No,
yeah,
I want Christopher Nkuku to say, yeah, this is the ball. First of all, give me a better pass. Second, yeah, this is what you bought
yeah.
me for. I shoot it. He shot it hard. It was a good looking shot in terms of the power over the bar. Of course, get that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
target.
and
But
I think we highlighted it against Torino. Like Nkoka hasn't been not only taking his chances, but he's not even tried to take the chance. He's either turned around or tried to dribble one extra man. Like he should have that killer instinct, and that's where he kind of went for there. And like you say, Salamaker's pass was kind of behind him. It wasn't in the run. It was kind of curved backwards, half loose. It was like a nothing pass. So again, much like Coney de Winter and Mignon combo, it's more on Coney de Winter to defend better, and in this case, it's a lot more on Salamakers to produce a better pass.
yeah, no, agreed. And I saw a lot of people hating online for that. But yeah, I'm fully
Yeah,
with you. Um, for the rest, yeah, I mean, not a lot of people shined.
yeah.
Pavlovic,
You
if I
call
go,
it you call it the pessimistic corner. Let's see your optimistic corner for this match, huh?
yeah, Pavlovic did okay. This is actually a great example of the Ruben Loftus Cheek experience for me. He tried a little bit, but Fofana came in, and in what time did Fofana come in? Let
The
me see
69th, I
on the
think.
sub. Yeah, you're right. So in those 20 minutes, he did more than Ruben Loftus-Cheek did in the 70 minutes. The man, unless you get the ball to him up there and he can get directly involved, he is, for the size of him and for his supposed work rate, defensively he's shocking. Like, even in a role where he doesn't have defensive responsibilities, so it's just all about hustle. If you go after it, he's shocking, and people don't realize this. And people see Fofana sky a few shots and they say, "Oh, give Ruben Loftus-Cheek, put Richie in." No, Fofana is the starter. Fofana should be the starter.
Yeah,
We can talk about Richie if you want, um, but don't no. Ruben Loftus-Cheek can go as far as I'm concerned. It's January. You want to chase minutes for the World Cup? Understandable. We won't miss you. Um, Estupinian, honestly, not too bad. He had a few talking moments, but he's a playable player. One of the few roles where at
yeah.
least we have two.
This game, yeah,
Yeah. And the rest just yeah, just rough.
yeah,
Um, Again, am I too sad that we're leaving early and have more time to prepare against Verona and all that? Absolutely not. I'd rather win against Verona in the next one, than this. But still not good. Um, we will see. What was spicy and what will cost Maximiliano Allegri 10,000 European dollarunos was some.
has he has it officially he's been fined for it?
That's correct. He's been fined 10,000, 10 grand. Was some quotes that he had with Oriali, one of the Conte's assistants. Um, what did you make about this whole situation? Because it's getting a lot of traction. It's been getting pretty ridiculous.
Look, I'm under the influence, and I had a long conversation with my father about this yesterday watching ice hockey, and it's a blanket statement over the two sports I watch closely, which is ice hockey and football, that refereeing standards have dropped in both sports and the consistency isn't right. Now, if you're going to be finding somebody for using foul language. Now, I think we can. I'm not going to say it on air because it's I mean, we're not that we're very PC, but it's not a. You shouldn't say that to somebody, right?
Of course, yeah,
In the law, right? But it wasn't. He wasn't. I don't know. I'm not going to try to make scenarios up, but he wasn't personally necessarily saying something about against Napoli's assistant coach there about his life. It wasn't anything discriminatory. It wasn't anything. It wasn't sexist. It wasn't misogynistic. It wasn't something as terrible as that. It's foul language. But if you're gonna be either taking the reports in from the opposing team about it, or you're gonna be using footage from the Bordo Campo,
yeah,
you need to be doing it regularly because
yes,
we both know, and it's not great. We're both very, we've grown up in I shouldn't say nice families, but we know when to use foul language and when not to. On a football pitch, when it's a Supercoppa semi-final, it's a heated rivalry. It's and I shouldn't say elderly gentleman, somebody that's been playing football for all his life. It's all he knows in Allegri. The amount of swear words that are used on most sports pitches, whether it's rugby, fencing, football, whatever, is diabolical if you compare it to perhaps a school setting or in an office setting. So if you're going to be using cameras and microphones from the side of the pitch to maybe prove that he's been saying foul language, you need to be doing it regularly because I know for a fact that, well, we know we've seen it ourselves. Conte has even sworn against his own captain slash player in Lautaro Martinez when he was back in Inter, calling him foul language again. How
yeah,
many times does it happen on a football pitch,
yeah, yeah.
on the side of the football
This
pitch?
is what also you're bang on. This is what also angers me so much is that we've heard now the words of the head of the Italian Association, all this stuff. It's all the grandstanding of like, oh my god, can you believe that the coach called him, coglione and leccaculos, basically like ass kisser and dickhead and idiot and all this stuff, and it's everyone is like, Max Allegri, why would he say that? And it's like, come on, am I saying that a proper football manager would do that and Ancelotti would do that? Probably not. probably shouldn't agreed with you. But this all grandstanding. We have literally Lautaro telling Conte in 4K to fuck off, and Conte saying, "Yeah, you're shooting yourself," and then telling him, miming this very clearly to him, um, like live during the game. What are we talking
Yeah,
about? Last year, Kolarov turns, I think it was in the Supercoppa, turns to the head of referee and says, "Your referees are terrible. Sono scarsi. They're terrible." to the referee,
yeah,
to the referee
yeah.
association.
To
And
his
so
face, yeah.
all this grandstanding. Acerbi had the racial thing to Juan Jesus, but those, all the cameras and all the stuff, that those are never caught.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of BS. I would hope that Milan comes out with an official statement saying,
What
understood.
what is yeah, what is that Denzel Washington quote from American Gangster? It's like, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah,
Who's gonna tell you whatever, blah blah blah. My boys,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, the cameras all of a sudden go missing, or
yeah,
like the
yeah,
footage. I shouldn't say go missing, but we're not gonna look at it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
bad luck. We've got racism and that all under control in the city.
Yeah. I
What
mean, just
racism?
even the
We
fans this year. I mean, we've seen it in Fiorentina. Vlahovic. We've seen it. The usual places everywhere. Nothing. But when
will see.
Allegri
Yeah,
tells Terzorialli to
yeah.
STFU, then it's all of a sudden the
It
worst
goes
thing.
back to Ibra's return when we played against Roma and he scored. I think it was a free kick, and he goes to, well, not goes, runs up to the fans, but he turns around to the fans and shushes them, or like does this,
Yeah,
because the Roma fans were calling him. I don't know.
yeah. I think it was
You tell me.
Zingaro. Yeah,
My English, Zingaro, yeah, which
yeah.
I don't know how
It's like
I
gypsy.
know it's bad. Yeah, exactly. So, uh, and then Ibrahimovic gets a yellow card for it.
Yeah, it's always Italy. It's always It's always for the looks and always for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Um, But
Okay.
yes, I
Yeah.
thought that was
Yeah.
ridiculous. I would hope that the team honestly comes out and says, 10 grand, yeah, no worries. Milan as the team, Milan, the football club, the business will pay this for Max Allegri. No worries.
Yeah.
But anyway, it will get paid and it'll
Yeah.
again turn out to be a nothing burger.
For
Um,
us, 10,000 euros would be a lot. But for Max
yeah.
Allegri, I think he has some savings.
I think he can afford it. I think he can afford it. His
Yeah,
kids won't go
maybe.
presentless during this Christmas after this fine for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Hope, well,
an-
maybe. Well, yeah. I don't know how
another,
he's like a father, but yeah.
huh?
I don't know what he's like as a dad. You know what I mean? He could be a
I think
really
he's fun. I
harsh
mean,
dad.
he's pretty funny.
He's a
I
funny
bet
guy. Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
hilarious. Obviously fiery,
Yeah.
but you can't compare to the football pitch. I think.
Yeah.
Um, Another spicy sort of news is, of course, they were playing in Hernandez' new stadium, and so Gazzetta went to find him for a little interview in which he was quite honest. He said a lot of things. He said that he always wanted to stay, but one specific man didn't want him there, making a not very subtle clue at Furlani. Um, he said that he was basically told find a new club or not be in the squad. He obviously praised a lot Maldini. He said that at the time, those years where everyone was like a family and he was great, and then
Yeah.
he was very confused once he was gone. He said that him in Calabria, the first day of training after Maldini was fired, showed up in a Maldini shirt, and that wasn't liked, obviously. He did spare Ibra multiple times. He said, the new management doesn't really understand how, the family environment in Milan and the football environment works, except for
Yeah.
Ibra, he stopped. And also said that, he had no problems ever with either the Portuguese coaches from last year, that a lot was sort of blown over from the media.
Yeah, I think his quote in English was that Conceição, he was authoritarian, but end of the day we got along and he was fair, or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know that Conceição is sort of like a Diego Simeone type manager, where it's a lot about passion and he'll tell you when you're wrong. But end of the day, they have respect for each other, like you say.
Yeah. What do you make of these quotes? I mean, it's sort of easy
Yeah,
to say when we come there and we lose and it looks a little bit bad. The fans are probably in a certain position. You're giving them time to forget that you didn't really and go out and play your best last year. You saw the
Yeah,
way the year was. It wasn't easy, of course. You saw the way the
yeah.
trajectory was going, but you had the captain armband a lot, and you decided to walk around a lot. We all remember how many goals we conceded because Theo was strolling a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
and his stupid red cards, which I think he admitted.
yeah, knocked us
You
out
know,
of
I
Champions
shouldn't
League.
against Fiorentina. It was such a stupid red card for Feyenoord as well.
Yeah,
Stupid. I make mistakes, and I know I did wrong. That's on me. But yeah,
yeah,
what do I make of it? You're right that it is Theo Hernandez. I would have understood him making or having this interview if Milan fans in general thought that he was just chasing the money. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because he ended up going to the Saudi league. I don't want to be talking about the Saudi league like in a bad way, but in terms of merit and sporting aspirations, perhaps it's not the biggest move for Theo Hernandez,
Mm-hmm.
and he is getting handsomely paid. But end of the day, it's a growing league. I'm sure it's getting better. It's getting more airtime. You know, we know the exodus of top quality players that are going there the last 2 3 years now. So I would have understood if Milan fans held a grudge against him, thinking that Theo Hernandez turned his back to the team, to Milan, and that he went to chase money, which isn't the case. I think a lot of Milan fans were very sad to see him go.
Yeah.
It ends up being like a he said, battle between them. I'm sure Forlani won't be going out with an interview to Gazzetta to back himself up, but it seemed the interview from what I read seemed genuine, and he's picking up. He made hints without going straight up, and he mentioned the Mignon's contract situation,
Yeah. Yeah.
which makes me believe it a lot more. Theo's side of the story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said something like, Forlani and management said that I was asking for ridiculous numbers. That's one of those conversations we might never ever get to know what
Of
Theo
course.
Hernandez's agent or Theo was really asking for.
Yeah.
We can sit here all day and speculate and be like, did he ask for 6.5 million euros and they only offered five? Did Hernandez go turn around and say, I want 10 million euros? Is that a is relatively that's a relatively good price for a world class left back. But we're a team in Italy that is some or trying to balance the books and keep everything uh, relatively stable in terms of wages. We know that.
Yeah, we have a very clear
We
wage
have a
structure,
limit.
which is maybe the only
Yeah,
good thing that is like one of the few good
yeah,
things this manager
yeah. So
has, right?
it doesn't run away and become a Vlahovic situation where
Yeah,
we can literally cannot move this player because Vlahovic's agent and himself want 12 million euros a season. No other club was going to pick that up, especially not outside of Premier League plus maybe Bayern, PSG, Barcelona, Atletico, and Real Madrid,
yeah,
right? Um, so yeah, is it? It's I shouldn't say it's typical Theo to go out and have this, but it seemed pretty mature. He kind of kept his feelings. Maybe he didn't go out and name people by name. Obviously, it's pretty easy for us to figure out who he was talking about, but it's worrying because now we've got the Mignon contract coming up, or it's ending. We already know that we almost tried to offload him anyways. Um,
yeah. It speaks to maybe what it could be. Yeah, I mean, uh, it's I've loved Teo when he was here. I have also very fond memories of what he used to be and what he tried. Or tried to be for Milan, and the derbies and the great goals and the passion and all that. It's also now in a system where you're like, oof, man, if we had that. He did have very good words for Batazagi, by the way, which I thought was also very nice.
yep,
Um, so yeah, if we had Theo right now, that would be great. I think he could play a couple different roles in this team as well. The only thing is that that I would maybe tone back a little bit with all the love that also I see online is, yeah, look, last year a lot of management did wrong, and I'm sure they did you wrong, but you also sort of dropped the
yeah,
ball a little
yeah.
bit. So maybe
And
just
there and
that for me.
there are always two sides to the story.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's the Napoli game. We didn't really get to watch. I only watched the highlights of the Bologna Inter.
Mm.
Uh, awful shootout. My God, some of the worst penalties I've seen in a long
Oh,
time.
Bastoni is getting roasted. Now he
Bastoni is
wasn't
getting
the only
roasted.
one.
Looks like he didn't care.
Barella.
Barella staring at the, even though he just kited, not no pitch came up, like
Yeah.
no grass came up, but he's just staring at the penalty spot. Like, oh, I couldn't have done that otherwise. Um, but they lose, which is good. I think, creates maybe some, maybe bad because we could have used them staying in Saudi and playing one more game, but creates a little bit of more fire around Kivu's boys, who continues to lose in the big games. We will talk about this more on our special end of year live stream with some very special guests. Um, but you saw Napoli; they seem pretty keen to unlike us, pretty keen to win this game and
Yeah.
therefore the
Yeah.
Coppa. I think if they were doing better in the other competitions, this is one that Conte would have been happy to drop. But they came from two pretty bad losses, so he kind of had no choice. In Champions
Mhm.
League, they're flirting with not even making it through. In Serie A, they're still obviously in the mix, but probably
Yeah, and
underperforming.
they have a lot bigger depth than we have. I know that Buongiorno and stuff have been injured, and they have Noah Lang, who was a strange signing for them because Conte doesn't seem to be using him, but he's on the bench and came on, and it's like, yeah, we brought on Atakame. All respect to
Exactly.
our Swiss boy, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, the subs are
that's
atrocious
that's a
for Max.
difference.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
What do you expect? Bologna, Napoli. Who do you hope, and who do you think is gonna win?
I hope Bologna. I think I've just have personally nothing against Bologna. They beat us in the Coppa Italia last season. Um, I like Italiano a lot.
Same. Agreed. I think
Uh,
yeah, especially if you win the Super Coppa, it's gonna be, obviously it all depends of which bench and which position is available, but it's gonna be
yeah,
hard to deny him
yeah,
whoever's big spot.
yeah. You never know. I mean, last season the top eight, all of them, they all teams moved or they changed coach, right? Pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
top
yeah.
eight.
I don't
So
think,
you
for
never know.
example, Conte is gonna continue being the Napoli
Yeah,
manager after this season. It seems like no
even
matter
yeah,
what happens, even if they win,
exactly. Even
like
if they
last
win the
year.
Scudetto, it's already a toxic relationship. It was almost a toxic relationship even before it began, right?
Exactly. So I could see that
Uh,
going, and
yeah,
then yeah, we'll
yeah.
see. I mean, Spalletti probably
It's like
doesn't
a good,
stay.
yeah, good riddance. But see you later.
Yeah, Spalletti
Yeah,
probably doesn't stay if they don't make top four. Now they beat Roma yesterday, so maybe the top four race is back for him. But yes, big fan of Italiano. Obviously, much rather have Bologna, even though they beat us in the final.
yeah.
Win, and so let's hope that. Let's
Although
hope
the only
it's
thing I have against Bologna was it was last season, and obviously I know they had terrible flooding where
yes, yes, yes,
homes
yes, yes.
were destroyed, public property. I'm pretty sure people lost their lives, but they did use that as a massive reason to change the game, right?
Yes, it was sunny and
So
everyone was back out when the game was there, and yeah, we
yeah,
we had to play
yeah,
Napoli without Teo, I think, because it was, yeah, that was
yeah.
bullshit. But
So that's not really on Bologna necessarily as a
yeah,
team. That's
they
just
are the Inter
owners, whatever.
killers. They beat Inter last, the Scudetto year. We all remember uh, the giant puppet at one moment. So let's hope it's a
Yep.
hard-fought game in which Napoli needs to exert himself, overly exert himself, and then maybe
Yeah.
lose in penalties. Let's do that
Yeah.
like with
No,
Inter.
hopefully no injuries, but let's say a lot of tired legs.
Yes, absolutely. And that brings us to, or do you want, no? Do you want to talk Mercato before we do Verona? Let's do that. Let's do
Yeah,
Mercato,
let's
and
talk
then and
Mercato.
then we can
Well,
finish as always with our
we
predictions.
only really have two things really to talk about. It's Fulkrug and potentially missing, or we have missed out on Thiago Silva if the rumors were true.
Yeah, Thiago Silva officially goes to Porto. The rumors, yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard to say how much we missed out, in the sense the fans wanted it and there was a lot of online traction about it, but it was never a real story. Um, or as a lot of reports say, but very not confirmed, Allegri was very open to this and wanted it, and management said no because algorithms, reasons, and age and stuff like that, and not understanding that a football club is much more than age and potential uh, and the balance sheet. Because Thiago Silva wouldn't have been asked to come in and play 90 minutes and rescue defensively and then be sold for more money that he was brought in. He would have come in for immense football knowledge, immense
yeah,
presence in the locker room, teaching our often sloppy center backs a few things. And look, he's in great shape.
Desire to win.
Desire to win. He's in great shape. You
Just like
cannot convince me.
just like Zlatan did when Ibra when he came in
Slatan, just like
4 years
Modric is
4 years
doing
ago.
now.
Yeah,
He's in great shape. You cannot convince me that playing in that middle position where you don't have to run too much in
yeah,
against some smaller side for 50 60 minutes, he couldn't do it. But
yeah.
we miss out on him. But it seemed that after this game, much like after the first defeat, Allegri went and said, I need my boy Rabiot. He has done that again for at least a striker and a defender. Um, and that striker seems we're basically just waiting for the confirmation. I have the graphic already ready to post on Instagram. Uh, will be Fulkrug. I was while you were talking. It looks like he makes about 3 million net a year.
Oh,
So
I thought
for
it'd
us,
be a lot more.
will be 1.5. Since we'll pay obviously half because he's joining for the season.
I generally just assumed it was a lot more because he was signed to be, West Ham starting striker, and we were in the race to sign him anyways. And now I'm sure Dortmund pay their players handsomely, but if we're going to be in a race with a Premier League club and he chooses West Ham, I'm sure there are other reasons. But I would have thought they just outbid us massively. That's what Premier League teams do. They're just like,
Yeah,
we can't be bothered to negotiate for another 5 days. We're going to double your offer in terms of wages.
yeah, yeah. But that's
Yeah,
not too bad. And I mean, we
yeah.
talked a little bit about last time, but
There's nothing to lose.
yeah, look, we're not. We'll see what the formula is. He'll probably be a loan with an option. That's
Yeah,
definitely not going to get triggered. He's not coming to play a striker. He's fine with that. We just need Allegri desperately needs someone who's a different look off the bench in games where we might need to cross the ball. It makes total sense to me. In January,
yeah,
you're not going to find anyone good. We already have plenty of striker that we need to rescue in terms of their their form in Nkunku and Jimenez. This makes sense. Is
yeah.
it exciting? Is it the Scudetto signings? Is it Moise Kean? No,
No, yeah,
but
yeah,
it makes sense. I'm
yeah.
not particularly against it.
I'm kind of upset about Thiago Silva, and I'm gonna shout out Martino Puccio from that Milan podcast because I saw he was tweeting, and it's like he said we really renewed Thiago Silva's contract back in was it 2011 for him just to never ever play for the club again, even like 14 years later. Even now we can't even get him back.
Yeah, and
It's
it's a little bit painful because obviously it always when he left, he was one of those players, kind of like Sandro, kind of like Kaká, where you're like, yeah, but he's gonna come back at some point, right? Kind of like Ibra,
yeah,
almost really.
yeah,
And you would have hoped earlier, even when I went to Chelsea. But this was like, okay, come on. He's always spoken so well. I loved him, loved him. I think peak Thiago Silva, and this is a very me quote, severely underrated player in the sense that everyone knows how good he is. But to
yeah,
me,
yeah. No,
peak
you,
Thiago
I
Silva
agree.
is one of the best center backs of all time. Like peak Thiago
Yeah,
Silva is better than Van Dijk all time.
yeah, yeah. No, no, yeah, better than Fan Disney. No, no,
I love that.
I was just
I don't know about that.
no, I was thinking back to our fantastic super draft that we did of Milan. I hope one of you, Colin, and I drafted Thiago
I'm
Silva.
pretty sure I did. Yeah.
Yeah, we must have done. Otherwise, we should shut down this podcast
No,
immediately.
absolutely. No, 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 no.
I mean, he's no Kaladze, but
Yeah.
no, you're right. No, sorry. Yeah, going back. Yeah, you're absolutely right that I thought he would have come back and played. He's openly said, even this, like the past few weeks, right? He's even
Yeah, I
said, "I would
think
love
so.
to come back," and he's obviously doing it because he kind of wants a shout to come back into the Brazilian national team for the
Yeah,
World Cup.
yeah, which is not
And
a bad
said,
shout.
he worded it nicely. He's not saying I deserve to be in the Brazilian national team. He didn't say I'm now that I'm going back to Europe, I will be playing. He said, I want to be ready in case Ancelotti needs me and Brazil needs me. Because I shouldn't say they're stacked, but
Yeah, but it's bigger squads this year. Like,
Gabriel, yeah, you never know with Gabriel. He's been out, right, for
yeah,
quite a while.
yeah. Look,
And yeah,
you want to take Silva in your locker room, especially for a World Cup for a Brazil
yeah,
squad that there's always so much pressure on those players.
yeah.
You want a Thiago out there like all day, every day. Yeah,
Yeah, you need somebody, you need that locker room presence where I shouldn't say the Brazil team is the only team in the world or national team in the world, but they do have quite a lot of inflated egos in general.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
when it comes to the strikers. There's been
We saw
talks
what Vinny
about,
did today. Yeah,
yeah, Vinicius Junior might be, I shouldn't say he'll be dropped by Ancelotti, but Ancelotti has that experience, even coaching Vinicius Junior, right? Obviously for
yeah, of
quite a while,
course.
to actually just drop him, not obviously completely out the squad, but he might, if he doesn't play well, and we know what is Estevao Villan is doing at Chelsea, he's looking like a bright spot. Rafinha, he's been playing well for Barcelona. Is Vinicius Junior, if we need a Thiago Silva to be on the player side rather than just the coaching side to either calm him down or whoever it might be. I'm not going to pick on just on Vinny Junior,
Yeah,
Vinicius Junior. But yeah, any team really needs who wouldn't want a Thiago Silva?
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Apparently Furlani and the algorithm. But yes,
God.
we move on.
Uh,
The latest on news, we've talked about Fulcro, we talked about Thiago Silva. From Moretto, so pretty as reliable as one can get, that Allegri wanted Moise Kean for this January transfer window, as he believed that he would be a lethal weapon to add to the squad. I
he would
would
be, I
I
guess.
would agree. I would like that a lot. I would like that a lot. If you have Moise Kean with Pulisic and
Yeah.
Leao, switching
Yeah.
between the three of them, I think you're in great
Yeah.
shape. Um,
I would also, but again, I mean that's obviously a quote, but I would also like a Bugatti Chiron as a
Fair,
as my
fair, fair.
daily
Although
driver.
again,
you know, yeah,
probably
that's
you're
a
right in terms of out of our price range.
realistically.
Although
And
with
realistically,
with
are
the
Fiorentina really going to let him up?
with the Fiorentina situation, there's gonna some people are gonna leave. Some people are gonna leave the Fiorentina squad this January, and a lot are gonna leave in summer, and they're literally facing
Yeah.
a Serie B. We'll talk about it more about at the end of the year when we have a full panel here, but it's looking grim.
Yeah.
To continue reading from the Monitor report, they're looking. However, the conditions are not feasible at this time, so we'll see if he does not move in January. If we're in the race for him in June, Milan are now defining the full Krug deal as we talked about. Um, Milan are also looking for a defender. Their priority is to cover the attack first, then focus on the defender afterward. The goal is to go get a defender on loan, trying to be frugal with economic expenditures. Shocking. Alex
When
Disasi has been proposed to Milan, but remains to be seen how the situation will evolve.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean the frugalness thoughts. Not many. No, the frugalness makes sense. I mean it's even if we made Champions League or even Europa League last season, they would have been frugal and they use this as an excuse. Um,
Yeah,
I think we've lived under frugalness for so long now, anyways. So we're used to it. It's not, the frugalness of saying, we've got a new Mr. X, we have a new number 10, and
yeah,
it is the man, the myth, the legend, Keisuke Honda that we've gone on and gone.
yeah.
Um,
No, we're gonna
but
be
yeah,
until
Alex
we're.
Sassy, Chelsea they rotate quite a lot. I
Yeah,
can't say I've watched a lot of them this
we do
season.
love a Chelsea reject.
Yeah, we certainly do. And to be honest, Giroud obviously did wonders for us, was slightly underrated, but the rest have been pretty dire. And
Pulisic has been great.
Oh yeah, I don't know, for in my mind, Pulisic is wearing that yellow Dortmund
Fair,
shirt
fair, fair, fair.
in my mind. But yeah, no, Pulisic, of course, yes. But he wasn't. I wouldn't say he was like as much of a reject as the other players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it
Tomori did
was
the
just
right.
his.
Loftus Cheek, probably
Yeah,
more bad than good.
yeah, and Disasi will be another. You literally can't, even if you're fit and healthy, you can't get game time with us. So out the door you go. Well,
Yeah,
Pulisic, I think, was a lot more of like inconsistency maybe, and also the injury woes that they had with that we've seen a bit of this season and last season, but not as much as Chelsea, I think, because he remember him
yeah,
playing 2-3 games, so then it's like, he's out for another 5 weeks. Plays
yeah.
another 3 games, he's out for another five
Yeah,
weeks.
for us, that's if it's any bigger names, there's gonna have to be someone like that because the
Yeah,
nature of our money. I had to say, yeah, we have to see what kind of deal we can get from Chelsea because paying that much money for for someone that in our plans probably doesn't start unless he surprises everyone and overperforms, which could always be the case.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a full Krug kind of deal for a defender. So another one that's maybe has a little bit more experience but
yeah.
isn't getting game time somewhere else and can
I
come
saw.
in, do 6 good months, and then see you all in summer.
Uh, yeah, no. Yeah, to wrap up Disasi, from another Premier League, another I should say reject, and I saw a report. I can't remember who it was. So I saw this on the real on in the real world of Twitter and X that Gabriel Jesus might be offered up to us.
I did see some report about this. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, with some injury players, I'm like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. Um, even like a Vlahovic, very big injury, but I'm like, okay, Gabriel Jesus though, like I don't remember me, and maybe I'm wrong. I would need to look at the numbers. I don't remember one season where he played consistently, not all the
No,
games, but just consistently.
yeah, no, he's picked up some freak injuries. What was it? He broke his toe or something like the last game before the World Cup. All these kind of freak accidents on the pitch. But yeah, no, you're right. The consistency hasn't been there. He was always a backup at Man City before he joined Arsenal. He's not been consistent.
Yeah,
I think he just wants game time for the World Cup, which
yeah, which could be a good chance. I think he's probably out of the plans um for
yeah,
Arteta, which makes sense. They have a starting striker. They have several options up there.
yeah,
But I mean, yes, I'm looking at it now since he's joined. Let me see if I can put it up on the stream super quickly. Um,
yeah.
I mean, since
And I
joining
mean,
Arsenal, now he's missed 46 games and has been out for 319 days. Before that,
poor
two
guy.
games, then 5 games, then one, then seven, then four, then 17. I mean, just shocking
Yeah,
numbers. So what I like him, I mean, he's a great player and a striker that a true striker, but also has sort of the flexibility to be
yeah.
play with it with the back and be come get the ball lower and dribble.
But
But
there's a lot more risk than a full crook because the injury woes.
yeah, I think
That's a
it
lot
makes
more
sense
risk.
to 6 months full crook now. We go in summer, we see what happens with Santi, we see what happens in Kuku, and then we see if we need to splash out for a bigger name like a Vlahovic or a Moise Kean.
Yeah.
Um, okay, then next up, Hellas Verona. We play in exactly a week, so we actually have quite a big break. Obviously, we need to fly back from the lovely Saudi, um, but quite a big break. What do you make of this game?
It's another 12:30 kickoff, right?
It's another 12:30 kickoff. A little bit scared
I'm not
about
gonna.
that for
I don't
sure.
want to comment. I don't want to comment about a 12:30 kickoff against a team that's in. Well, they're what place are they? They're 18th, aren't they?
They are 18th, yes.
Yeah. So it's not looking good, Brev.
It's
To
yeah,
quote
it's not looking
the
good.
meme. Yeah.
Uh,
No. What can I expect? I shouldn't say Milan are shambolic and that we're panic stations right now, but yeah, consistent win or not a consistent win, but a resounding win would be fantastic.
it
Where that
would
fills us with a bit more confidence going into the new year. But I am struggling to see how we will do that. But yeah,
Yeah, it would be needed. They have been struggling. They had not won a game all season until the last two, but then got, of course, in perfect form, preparing for us, and got two very big wins. They beat Atalanta 3-1, um, and then obviously they beat in a massive game for them Fiorentina away 2-1. Um, Players to know, obviously, Gift Orban has been on fire and he's been quite good. And then I don't know if you've watched any Verona games. I don't know why you would. So I'm not gonna put you on a spot like
I
that.
don't. Yeah, no, I don't
But
really want to watch a team that is allegedly very anti-Semitic in the crowds.
that's very fair. Okay, well I don't know what you're saying about me now. But they have. Oh wait, is he? Oh no, he will play. Okay, he's Giovanni. I don't know if it's Giovanni. It's spelled like Giovanni in Italian, but he's Brazilian. Giovanni. He's a baller. He's a baller. A little rough, a little diamond in the rough,
Ah,
but
okay,
so
okay,
talented.
yeah,
And be on the lookout for him if you're watching Milan fans. He's dangerous. And I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if already next year, but soon enough we see him make the jump either to a big club or already next year to sort of a middle club. What Fiorentina is supposed to be if
yeah.
they don't get uh, if they don't get relegated. But no, he's been very good this season. So 22 years old. Brazilian. I don't think he'll make it to the World Cup, but honestly, he's been very 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 good. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Who do you expect to play? I mean, I think will be the strongest 11. We have had no news. The team is traveled back, so the training is tough to say. We know that Gabia didn't have a super serious injury, so obviously they didn't bring him to Saudi, but he could be in the mix to be back.
yeah.
Uh,
Do we see Bartisagi slotting in to the back three and having Pervis
oh,
continue to play? You know that because honestly, after I shouldn't say it's all doom and gloom for Conny de Winter that he won't be seeing minutes for Milan again, but is it really right to throw him back into a game?
yeah, the bench is harshing, but it's harsh if Gabia still
Yeah,
isn't there. But look, yeah, for me, he can play this level games. He can play against an Hellas, although against Giovanni's on that side, and will give him problems. But to me, it's in that Tomori position or nothing. Yeah, it's very
yeah,
clear.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, maybe you're right. I would expect Leao to play. He was brought to Saudi, so with the attention that he could play, he was not even on the squad for Napoli though. So I would love to see some Leao and Pulisic really, really badly. I also think it could help Nkuku to come off the bench. Not that he's killed it off the bench, but I expect the strongest lineup and the only really 11 men that Max Allegri trust.
hmm
So Mike, Gabiev healthy, Pavlovic and Tomori on either side,
yeah.
Salamakers, Rabiot, Modric, Fofana for all you haters, but it will be Fofana, and Bartesaghi. Swap the wingers there, and then hopefully Leao and Pulisic. I think then all that's left is our predictions. What do you think?
I'm trying to. What do I say? I say a 2-1 victory for Milan. I'm gonna be positive. We're going into Christmas now. I'm feeling joyous. I'm feeling Christmassy. I'm not particularly Christian as such and religious, but I love going to see my relatives in Sweden. So I'm feeling joyous. Apart from the journey tomorrow to the airport and on to dark and gloomy Sweden with no snow. You know the trip.
This is it would
But
be
I'm
tough. It would be tough for you to be out there in the cold, dark Swedish forest and have to watch a
Yeah, and
12:30
my
loss
favorite ice hockey. Yeah,
to
my
Hellas.
favorite my favorite ice hockey team aren't doing fantastically well. They lost yesterday. I'm going to see them live on the 26th. If they lose and then Milan lose on the 28th, then I might just not
Then
return
Christmas
from
is ruined
Sweden. Christmas has been certainly ruined. Yeah,
and
as a
cancelled.
29-year-old, I need to still go Christmas present shopping to get something for my one fantastic parents. Yeah, it's just yeah. I don't
This
know.
is the face of a
I'm
stressed man,
crashing
everyone.
out.
Leave if you weren't gonna leave a like. If you're still watching this far, you weren't gonna
Yeah,
leave a like for our football commentary. Leave a like for this poor stress man. Help him out. Give him
yeah,
some views. Give him something to smile about this Christmas.
yeah.
Um,
Otherwise, I won't smile for 2026.
no, we remember we try to talk about this more smiling on the streams. Um, yes, tough. I
What
mean,
do you say? Yeah, what do you think, and who do you think will start? I think you're right in saying that Allegri will field the best 11. We need to bounce back.
yeah,
Uh,
we need to score some goals. We need to create. I did find it interesting that Allegri said that yeah, defensively didn't work, and he said after Napoli in the last few games I saw a lot of things that I didn't like. I might need to change something. Now that can mean everything and nothing, of course. But
yeah, true.
but I do expect someone who he likes to remind every press conference how the team with the best defense wins the Scudetto 99% of the time. So I would expect, especially with this bigger break, for him to double down on those mistakes and try to fix them. So let's go back to clean sheet days. We don't concede in San Siro. Um, assuming
You
Gabi is
you
back.
you
If
really
Gabi is
went
not there,
bold.
I want to asterisk. If Gabi is not there, we definitely concede. If Gabi
I
is
know
there,
we
we
don't we
don't
don't we don't
concede.
do these asterisks and what ifs. You need to have you
Okay,
need to be
okay, fine.
straightforward here.
Clean
Yeah,
sheet 3-0. Rafa
three
plays.
three.
Rafa scores
Oof. You
twice
sure about that?
and serves, and Chris Pulisic. Uh, yeah, that's it. And at least one of those is assisted by Yusuf Fofana. Heard it here first with a nice assist, maybe like a back heel or first time pass or something.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be catching you out here in front of some of our viewers and stuff, but eventually, if you keep saying or repeating it, Fofana will eventually score or get an assist, and we're gonna be posting it
Hey,
everywhere, and
this is
I'm gonna
true,
be
but
like,
hey,
I
I've been
backed
switching it out. Sometimes they say goals, sometimes they say assists. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
yeah.
Game.
One day you'll say assists and he scores, and then the next time you say he scores, he assists.
This is
So
the beautiful thing about having not a lot of followers still on YouTube. It's that I can say anything and no one will catch it. But once I
yeah,
guess it, I can spread it to all the other social media and pretend to be the football expert that I am not.
yeah, yeah. Otherwise, we
Okay.
delete this clip.
Oh yeah, this whole podcast is going down. 2-1 for you, 3-0 for me. Of always the positive Pete's. At this point, we had to say only words left to say are Forza Milan, but also Merry Christmas to all that celebrate. Happy holidays, and stay warm. And we will see you
Yeah,
after the last game.
Forza Milan.